We should do it. We should talk about how we feel about every team and the
Every
ACC.
ACC team and do that as a segment.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right. What do you think about Boston College?
All right, let me go ahead and get them all up here. Yeah. So
This is so stupid.
alphabetical order. Okay. Boston College is like, I have good memories of beating them when they were ranked number 2 with Matt Ryan. So I'm a Florida State
So
fan.
you beat
Jason's
the
a Syracuse fan.
The best team in the history of their school, you beat them. That sucks.
Yeah, and we were like unranked, like it was like a down year. It was a
no.
lost decade year for
That
Florida
sucks.
State. And but yeah, it was just kind of like unexpected. We beat them. We also did the same thing to BYU once. They're not an ACC team though.
Yeah, but they
I
don't
think
matter.
so. Boston College has very similar color scheme to Florida State, and I think that like I'm pretty like neutral on Boston College overall. Like I feel like they usually we have a tough time with them. We seemingly always get them for their bandana game, like the
Yeah.
and it just sucks because they always play so good. But what do you think? They're more of a rival for Syracuse, right?
Well, even when Syracuse sucks, they're one of the teams that we always have a chance to beat. So I
So
like
am I
that.
saying it wrong? I would say Syracuse. Is it Syracuse?
I say Syracuse. I don't know.
You're
Who
closer
knows?
there. I'll say Syracuse from now on.
Who the hell knows? I don't know. Yeah, so they're a team that we always have a chance. I never look at Boston College on the schedule and go, "Oh, well, we're losing that game." So
yeah. No, you
therefore-
always have a shot for sure
Yeah.
against Boston College.
And that's in football. In basketball, they're historically pretty terrible. So
Yeah.
normally we mop the floor with them, but not this year because we suck this year. But
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So Clemson.
Well, the next team is Cal, apparently.
Oh gosh, you're right. I'm looking at like a
You're looking at an old list.
deprecated list. Oh god, we have so many teams in the
We have
ACC now.
We have no thoughts on Cal.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it though. I mean, if we're doing all of them. Boston College. Okay, I need to get an alphabetical list.
Oh, I'm just on Wikipedia.
Okay, yeah, there we go. I'm there now too. Yeah, so the ACC had some recent additions that don't make any sense. College football's a mess right now. Right, so Cal.
Oh, so
like
the
Cal.
ACC subreddit has one of those stupid Reddit things going on right now.
Oh,
Do you want to
really?
know what it is?
Yeah, sure.
What's the best mascot? It's a single elimination tournament, and they vote on the winner like every day.
Ooh.
Right now, Otto just beat whatever Cal's like dumb bear thing is.
Yeah, Florida State doesn't even have a mascot. So, I mean, we do for basketball. It's Cimarron, but football doesn't even have one. So
I don't think
we
they're
lose.
using Cimarron. I think they might just use like the horse or something. I don't know what they're using.
Renegade.
Yeah.
Cimarron is like a different horse. It's dumb, but I'd say I actually like Cal because I liked watching them at like Pac-12 After Dark back when the Pac-12 was a thing. And every now and then they just have a really good couple of players, or they just beat a really good team, and they were sometimes fun to watch. I have a favorable opinion of Cal.
We played them this year, and we were like 12-point underdogs, even though we had a better record and we were clearly better than them. And then we beat the fucking shit out of them. So I don't know why.
They're
were
our
such big
only
favorites.
our only win last year against a real
that's
team.
right. Yeah.
And everyone's
was-
mad at them for losing to us.
Why was I still don't know why Cal was like they weren't just like a little favorite. They were like a big favorite over us, and then we just like beat the tar off of them. So I don't know.
All right. Well, then now it's Clemson.
Yeah, now it's Clemson. I mean, we're both thumbs down on Clemson, right?
Yeah. So I mean, first things first. Dabo's a clown.
I like him, but yeah.
He's entertaining.
Our old coach before Dino, the guy before Dino, there was one time where Clemson was beating the shit out of us by like 40 points, and they went for it on like 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter. And then they didn't get it, and our coach pops off so hard, and he's like screaming, "Fuck you, Dabo!" Ah! It's kind of epic.
Yeah. Well, like it's weird for me because like growing up, we would like always beat Clemson no matter what. Like it was,
Okay.
and it was like then like Bobby Bowden's son was the coach for part of
Yeah.
that. And so it was just kind of like they were like the little brother, right? Like
Yeah.
you'd never expect them to win. And then things shifted after the Natty in 2013, and like Clemson just kept getting better and better and better. And then we were losing to them. and then like they've kind of fallen off, but like
Well, that's relative. They're still winning
they're
the
still really
conference
good
every year. Yeah.
They're still, you can count on them to be better than Florida State most years still. But I think like overall, slightly negative on Clemson, but like I don't hate them.
I hate them.
Yeah.
I resent that when we got added to the ACC, we got put in the division with Florida State and Clemson. It's not fair. I hate that.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too
So
bad.
the thing with Clemson is we always played them close, but we only actually beat them one time. So like in the Reddit game threads, everybody would be like, "Oh, I'm scared of Syracuse." And I'm like, "Don't be. You're gonna some bullshit's gonna happen in the end. You're gonna win. It might be a close game, but you're gonna fucking win. So who cares?"
Yeah.
And that's just the way. Like, because they're undefeated, like 2018 Trevor Lawrence team. We were better than them, and we lost because they had a home game and the refs fucked us over. But it's that's
ACC
just what
refs
happens.
are terrible. Everyone agrees.
So the Clemson game was the end of Dino too, because like Dino in 2022, Q started 6-0. We just beat NC State, who was ranked like 10, so we were ranked like 12 or something, and Clemson hadn't lost yet either, I don't think. And we were up, I think it was like 24-3 in the third quarter, and then we just like fell apart and lost, and then we lost the next 5 games in a row, and that was
the Dino special. I mean,
yeah,
Dino, it's like you can hold it to get like if you can win and like it's like the first loss, it just trickles and all just the house of cards collapses.
The thing is the problem was the same basically every year. Is we would run out of players on defense and teams would just run over us.
Yeah,
in the second half of the year
and whatnot.
Exactly, yeah. Because like that year, I remember like the narrative was like, well, we won, but another defensive lineman got injured. And it happened like every week, and then it's like, oh, we're starting a walk-on that's 5'7" now at defensive tackle. Yeah. So it's like we're just getting run over every game. So like Florida State that year, that was like one of those games we just didn't. We lost like 40-7 or some shit because we just couldn't stop the run.
Which year?
2022.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. We were good. We were 10-3 2022.
Yeah.
That was like when we finally had a good season after just like a string of like 6 terrible seasons in a row. So it was just so nice.
We can get off Clemson. We can go to Duke.
Yeah, no one's going to watch this one anyway. So yeah, so Duke, I don't like Duke, obviously for basketball reasons, but shifting back to football, it's just kind of like, I'm a little extra salty because we finally lost to Duke. We had never lost. So
Never?
Florida State we had never lost to Duke. And this last year, our first ever loss to Duke.
Because you were on the other side of the conference, and then before that, like in the 90s, Duke was like the worst team ever. So
yeah, they were always like incredibly bad, and then Elko came along, and he was really good, man.
In the last like decade, they've been respectable, but like there was a stretch in like the late 90s, early 2000s where I think they went like 4 years in a row where they won like one game or some shit. Like they were terrible for a while.
They were really, really bad. So Florida State's next.
Well, I mean, I didn't talk about Duke.
Oh, okay. I think you were just talking, I thought, but okay, yeah.
So, well, I mean, in football, yeah, I don't even really remember any Duke games, but in basketball, we play them every year, and when Cuse was good in basketball, that was always exciting. Like, when we first joined the ACC, that first year, all of the excitement, like, around Syracuse was about the Duke game. It sold out, like, basically as soon as tickets went on sale. Like, the Duke game sold out, and that's 36,000 people for Syracuse, like, basketball. So that's a lot of people. And Cuse was really good that year. We started out 25-0, and we were ranked number 1. And then we were playing Duke. Like, Duke came to us. I think they were ranked, like, number 7. They had Jabari Parker and Rodney Hood and a bunch of other guys that shoot threes. We didn't have anybody who shot threes. Syracuse didn't know about 3-point shooters yet. Like, we didn't understand.
Took a while
to do that. Well, I remember, like, I know the box score. The box score, Duke attempted 35 threes, and we attempted 3. So it was like, anyway, it was an instant classic game that Cuse won in overtime. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And that was really the last, like, great Cuse team, too. That was the last team to get a 1 seed in the tournament, so this was, like, 2014. And unfortunately, they had a really bad game in the second round. They lost to Dayton in a game that was like 30s. It was like in the 30s. It was 30s? A stupid game. No, we couldn't make shots. We just missed every shot and lost. So it sucked. Looking back, like that Cuse team didn't even like have any NBA players, and Duke had like 4. So they guess they were more talented. But anyway, yeah, we played them close until like the last 4 years in basketball, and now we just get destroyed. So yeah, the next one is Florida State.
Yeah, you can start with Florida State.
I hate that we lose to them every year. That, as I said, I resented being put in that half of the conference.
Yeah, it sucks because you know we were definitely the kings of the ACC for quite some time.
So I want to say we've beaten you twice since joining the conference, but they were both in Syracuse, meaning I didn't go to either game.
Yeah, I mean we definitely lost during the Taggart years, and it was a really bad loss too.
Yeah. We had our backup quarterback. That was the Tommy DeVito game, who's famous in the NFL now.
Hey,
he's the Giants like pariah or whatever. He got put in. I think he's done now. Like he's probably not getting another job, but
yeah,
you know, he had like his 15 minutes of fame in the NFL. But he was our backup quarterback that year, and he was the quarterback for that game. And yeah,
I'll say it's been rough lately as a Florida State fan. Just had our worst
this
season.
Last year was real rough. Yeah,
it was our worst season in 50 years. You have to go back to the 70s to find one this bad. And
it sucks.
Yeah, there's hope. You know, I'm actually very positive about the future. It's just kind of the sport at large is
NIL sucks.
Depressing. Yeah, it's like there's eventually in like a decade we're probably gonna like land in some sweet spot where things are a little bit better than they are now. But right now it's just a little too much.
Yeah, you're gonna leave us behind in the Super League or whatever.
Oh, well, we'll see. Who knows if we'll get out of the ACC. It's so funny though, like so many people have been like so upset about at Florida State. Like they're just fucking mad at Florida State, and you know, obviously I'm biased as a Florida State fan, but it's just like, what do you want from us? Because like
when you're good and you start to suck, then that's when, come on,
we go 13-0. And we don't get invited to college football playoff.
It's bullshit.
And for a brief window, people are like kind of on our side, right? It's just the shit that we've had to eat for the past few years has been rough. It's just sucked.
Gotcha. Man, anyway. It's the whole like every player is a mercenary now, because like Cuse basketball this year is going through the same thing, where it's just like, if you pay the wrong like guys in NIL, you just kind of are fucked.
We paid the wrong guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like Cuse basketball, we just got the wrong players this year, and as a result, we suck. Same with like your football team.
DJ Uyunglele did not pan out.
Neither did the other 2 guys you had as a backup. They seemed like they were even worse.
Yeah, they were really, really bad, and that kind of speaks to Mike Norvell's ability to develop players from a high school level. It's all not great, but you know, the new people coming in, I'm excited about the new coaching staff anyway. But how do we feel about Georgia Tech?
Georgia Tech? I think I'm going to go up there for the Cuse game next year.
Yeah?
Because they play in Atlanta. They play in Atlanta twice, actually. They play a neutral game against Tennessee. Yeah. We have the worst schedule in the country next year. It's not even fair.
Yeah, playing Tennessee, is that your opener?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. We don't know who our quarterback's going to be. Like, we don't know anything. So
that's rough. Yeah. Well, I like Georgia Tech, actually.
Their coach talked a lot of shit this year, and then we beat them. So that was fun.
They thought they were really good because they beat us.
Yeah, and then I think their next game was against Cuse, and then they lost.
Yeah, they didn't even... They played us close too in our worst year in 50 years. But I can understand everyone always thinks like if you beat Florida State like week 1 or week 2, you feel pretty good about yourself. But you don't know if we're good or not yet.
Weird thing about Syracuse this year, we gave up 3 onside kicks and still won all 3 of those games. One of them was against Georgia Tech. So like they were down 21, they scored a touchdown, they got an onside kick, and they scored another touchdown like in garbage time. So it looks like the game was close, but it really wasn't close.
Man. Yeah, well, this is gonna take forever if we don't speed it up. So I guess how do we feel about Louisville?
You don't want to go an hour on ACC? All right.
I don't, dude. I don't.
Louisville sucks. Fuck Louisville.
Yeah,
You agreed?
It sucks playing Louisville. They're always like weirdly good. I hate playing Louisville.
The last game I went to in the Dome before I moved down here was the Lamar Jackson game, where they scored like 70 points against us, and he was like jumping over guys, and he had like 300 rushing yards.
They scored 70 points against us too.
Yeah. Well, because this was the week before they played Florida State, I remember. Because I remember they played like Mercer or something week 1, and they scored like 80 something points, and we're like, well, yeah, but who cares? Like that's some bullshit team that doesn't matter. And then we played them, and the score was like 70-42 or something. It was like a really weird game. Yeah.
Yeah, they beat us pretty much equally as bad, and it's gone down in history as one of the worst Florida State losses of all time. But it was really just Lamar Jackson being that good.
Yeah, he was unreal that year. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I thought we had a pretty good quarterback that year, but no. They had the really good quarterback that year.
Well, then,
Miami?
Yeah, fuck Miami, dude.
Fuck Miami?
Miami is not a real program. They're just, they don't exist.
I forgot to bring up
it's
basketball
fake.
for Louisville.
They don't even have a stadium.
I have to talk about Louisville basketball. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
They were a long time because we were in the Big East together in basketball, and in the late 2000s, it was pretty much just like either Syracuse or Louisville was going to win the league because we were the two best programs. So I think we played in the Big East title game like 3 or 4 times, and that was fun, I guess. They had their coach was Rick Pitino. Do you know anything about Rick Pitino?
It sounds very familiar.
He is one of the best college basketball coaches ever. He was disgraced from Louisville by like hiring hookers or something for recruits, so he got fired.
Okay.
And anyway, he was a Syracuse assistant.
That sounds like someone Miami would hire.
Yeah, well, he's not at Miami. He's at Louisville. I'm talking about Louisville. I went back to Louisville. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Still sounds like someone Miami would hire.
He was a Syracuse assistant, and then he went on to be better than any coach Syracuse has ever had. So he's won national titles at Kentucky and Louisville, so he was at both rivals. He went to the Final Four with Providence. Right now he's at St. John's, and they're having their best season they've had in like 30 years. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah I guess Miami.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Miami sucks. Fuck Miami.
They don't have a stadium. They it's funny because like they've never won the ACC. Thank you, by the way.
They're a big part of the reason, like they were one of the early dominoes in why college football's fucked by leaving the Big East for the ACC. Even if it does make more sense geographically because they were the only team in Florida. So like it was kind of dumb, but you know. They were the first ones to leave, so.
Well, it's funny that they also went all out on Cam Ward, and that also didn't pan out.
Well, I mean, you say that, but they won 10 games. For most teams, winning 10 games means it panned out.
Well, you could say that, but it's just kind of like Cristobal is not good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy for him to stay there. I just feel like, they paid, like however many millions, $1 million, $2 million for Cam Ward. That was money so that he could keep his job.
I was happy to beat him. I don't hate him, but I was really happy to beat him this year.
It's one of the big 2 rivals for Florida State, so obviously I'm not going to like Miami, but for me, Florida is the one I always take more seriously because they're a real program, unlike Miami, who will never be back. The U will never be back.
You're probably right. Right. What's next? North Carolina? Fuck them.
Yeah, I don't hate them. Like it's weird that they've been kind of good. Well, in basketball, you have to understand. I am like
you don't care about basketball. That's fine.
It's 95% football for me, but I do care when Florida State's good, which we were good as recently as 2020. So
yeah.
That's
pretty. I mean, the thing with basketball is you have to learn, like, if you're into it, is that it's the hardest sport to, like, actually win the championship when you're good.
Yeah, because the tournament's just ridiculous. It's nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's Virginia going out when they were a 1 seed that one year and then winning it the next year.
Well, we before. Okay, so Virginia got the 1 seed 3 years in a row. They lost to UMBC as the 16 seed, but the year before that, they also got the 1 seed and they lost to Syracuse.
Ooh.
So yeah, we beat them in the second round the year before
Nice.
that. So that was pretty cool. We had a really crappy team that year too. Like we were not good. We still beat them.
Oh, well,
so
we got to
cool.
talk about Belichick, right?
Oh
The
yeah,
one and
Belichick's
done.
there now. Yeah.
That's so weird.
We have to play them this year too. They're on our schedule.
Well, it's not gonna be like, I don't even understand what the point is, because like he's just there so that his son can get that job.
Think so? Maybe.
Oh, he's admitted
I
as
don't know.
much. Like he's not recruiting, he's not doing anything. Like it's kind of cool, like if you're a recruit to play for Belichick, right? But yeah, I don't see it ever happening for UNC. I just don't.
Well, I mean, it depends on what their goals are. I don't think they're ever going to win a national championship,
Yeah.
but they could win the ACC title in weird
Yeah, it's
years.
possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. They have to.
I mean,
you
if
know.
if UNC can't dream, then I can't dream. So that's, we
Okay, I don't
have
know
to have
why
some shot.
Notre Dame is next on this list. They play sometimes in basketball.
well, the next one's
ACC, but
NC
they're
State.
not.
The next one's
Yeah.
NC State.
Yeah, NC State. Well, no, Pitt.
What do you think? No, because we just talked about NC, and then there's NC State, which is different.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I skipped
Yeah.
over it. Yeah.
NC State's the one that was in our division, so we would
It
play them
sucks
every
playing
year.
NC State. They beat us. They always have good quarterbacks. It's
Yeah.
always a battle, except when we had Jameis. We absolutely obliterated them. I think it was 28-0 in the first quarter. That was a sight to behold.
I want to say we've beat them when they were ranked 3 different times, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think every other year they've beaten us, so
Yeah.
it's not usually a good game.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's next because they're a basketball member.
Yeah. That's right.
And they play, don't they play 5 ACC games a year too?
They play a decent. Well,
We have to play them. Hughes has to play them this year at Notre
Oh
Dame.
yeah.
So yeah, that sucks.
It's kind of cool if you want to travel and go there.
No, we never beat them, so I hate playing them.
Yeah. We
beat
only
them.
get them on the schedule when we're absolutely like dog water.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we have to play them like every 2 or 3 years, and even when we're good, we get just trounced by them. And I remember when I was a kid, we beat them. I was probably like 11 or 12 or something. After our coach had already been fired, because we went like 2-10 for like 4 years in a row. So we fired our coach. And then he asked if he could coach out the rest of the year, and they let him, and then we beat Notre Dame. And like it's like the last game. Yeah.
That's cool. They're usually good at basketball, so.
Yeah, we our quarterback was Cameron Dantley. Do you know who Adrian Dantley is?
No.
He is an NBA Hall of Famer that went to Notre Dame, and his son was our quarterback when we played Notre Dame and beat them. So, yeah, that was a weird thing. He
That is
wasn't even
cool.
on scholarship. He was a walk-on quarterback that we just like had an injury and a guy sucked, so he ended up being our quarterback.
That's a fun piece of trivia.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird at the time. Yeah, Pitt's next. Pitt's the worst. Pitt's the worst team in the whole list.
What's so bad about
Eat
them?
shit, Pitt. Well,
Eat
they're not
shit,
a real
Pitt is too
program
fun
either.
to
They don't
say.
have a real stadium. They don't really have fans.
Yeah.
Like nobody gives a shit about them. Yet they're still always better than Syracuse, and we never beat them. So I don't know what's up with that.
I kind of like Pitt because
No.
their first ever ACC game was against Florida State, which is
Yeah.
and it was in 2013. So like,
Yeah. And you
one of the
beat the
best
hell
Florida
out of
State
them.
teams of all time is their
Yeah.
introduction to the conference.
That
And I
sucks.
rewatch that game every year. So I love watching us just beat the shit out of Pitt. It's just a lot of fun.
The only time I can even think of in the modern era where we've beaten Pitt, and we play them every year. We play Pitt every year. They
Yeah.
were our cross-division rival. Was the Wildcat game when Dino was like, "Fuck it, we're not using a quarterback," and we beat Pitt.
Well, that's awesome.
It was the only time I think Dino actually beat Pitt. I don't think
See-
I think he was like 1-7 against him.
This is why Pitt is kind of cool, is because it's great to just beat them. It's just nice.
Yeah, but we never do though. Even when we're good, like even last year we lost to Pitt.
Yeah.
We won 10 games. One of our losses was to Pitt. So fuck them. SMU.
Well, yeah, SMU.
Yeah.
Fuck SMU, dude.
Oh well. So when I lived in Dallas, I actually thought like I wanted to go to an SMU game. Just this is before like any of the realignment stuff, just because I thought it would be fun. And the cheapest tickets were like $200. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? Of course I'm not going.
Well, it's a rich person school.
And then I went to a North Texas Mean Green game and had more fun anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, had more fun anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mean Green, is that like a discount Green Wave Tulane?
I don't even know. They're the Mean Green though. That's what
The Mean
their
Green
name is. The North Texas Mean Green. They're Division 1. Like they're in like the Sun Belt or something.
I'm glad SMU didn't win the ACC in a very bad ACC year. And I'm glad they got taken down in the playoffs as well. I root for them to fail. And it's, if you're asking me why, because I didn't give a shit about SMU ever, other than the fact that like, oh, that logo's ugly. You know,
have you seen the 30 for 30 movie about SMU?
Are you talking about the one where their program should have been killed?
Yeah, well, no, it was killed. They got rid of it for 2 years.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that it was, you could come back after being killed.
Well, yeah, they did. It was like under completely different, like at a different level. Because they were in the SWC, the Southwest Conference, which was like that was like the precursor to the Big 12. They were in that, and then when they came back, they were not in that anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
So they got knocked down a peg.
How do you feel about them?
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to a game once, and I couldn't. That was my
it's kind of like a question of like, how long will the ACC survive after them joining? Because the last conference they joined died.
Did it? What did they join? Did they join the Big East? Were they like a late were they like at the end of the Big East? We tried to add them or something? I don't remember.
No, I think that the last conference, did they join the Pac-12? I can't remember. Let me see.
I don't know. Do you want to hear a really sad Big East story about Temple? You know about Temple?
Yeah, like near Pittsburgh.
Well, it's in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But I mean, same state. But so Temple was in the Big East starting from when they added football up until the mid 2000s when everybody left. Like BC, Virginia Tech, and Miami all left the Big East to go to the ACC, right? So instead of just finding 3 new schools to replace them, we're like, you know what? While we're making changes, why don't we just kick Temple out? So because they were they were the worst team in both basketball and football, so we just kicked them out, and then we replaced them with Cincinnati, Louisville, USF. Some other team I'm forgetting.
Well, you got better teams. I mean,
we did. We got better teams than fucking Temple, but it comes back later because when the Big East was falling apart again, we invited Temple back. Did my camera go out?
Yeah, it did.
What the fuck? Why?
Well, I mean, it's frozen, but on your end, it's probably fine.
No, it's frozen on my end too. The camera turned off. The camera shut off.
Oh.
The fuck? Damn it. In the middle of my awesome Temple story.
We still have the audio.
I can't change it while it's recording either.
Well, we'll have to... Yeah, let's finish the Temple story.
When the Big East was falling apart again, we invited them back, and they played one sad, pathetic year in like 2012 or 2013 with the Big East again, before Cuse and West Virginia and Rutgers and all. Everybody left again. So, yeah.
Poor Temple.
Yeah. So we never did Stanford. What do you think about Stanford?
I like Stanford because I like their mascot, the Cardinal. It's so dumb. The tree looks terrible in the best way.
Oh, yeah, the tree is awesome.
It's so goofy.
So Stanford was terrible. I think we were their only ACC win this year. We bungled so bad against them. It was like everything that could go wrong.
Lost. If you had beaten them, everything would be different.
Yeah, we would have been in the ACC championship game.
Yeah,
no. It was one of those games where just like untimely penalties and like a bad interception and just like, and we still had a chance to win it. It was 4th and 9, and we just left a guy wide open, like on their last drive because they were down 2, so they needed a field goal to win, and we had them stopped. It was 4th and 9, and then we just left some guy fucking wide open.
I watched way more Q's games than I ever have this year.
I didn't
watch that one.
Their quarterback was a guy re-recruited too. He was on our roster and then he transferred out.
I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that so much.
So, He was actually probably like, if he stayed on the team, like we probably never would have gotten McCord this year because we would have had him. Which, so I mean, I guess all things come around. We were better off, but
Yeah. McCord was great. And it's a shame he couldn't come back.
the word on the street is he could, but he didn't want to. He decided not to.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's funny how much like rides on like the whim of like some kid basically.
Yeah, because like they went through a lot to appeal and get him an extra year, and I think the thing is like, since it didn't pan out, the school will never say. So I'm just going off hearsay on the fan forum. But that's the going theory, is that he basically said no. Like he said he'd think about it if you get the waiver, and then they did, and then he said no.
Okay. Well, next up, Syracuse.
Yeah.
So since you are the Syracuse fan, I will speak. They're another orange team in the ACC, and I have kind of a thing against orange teams usually, with Miami, Clemson, and the University of Florida all featuring orange. So, you know, my first instinct upon looking at Syracuse is negative.
But we're not a threat. You just beat us every year, so it doesn't matter.
It's just used to the color. But no, and my feelings have changed, obviously. You know, I have a little Auto mascot plushie somewhere behind me.
No, it's your kids. It's not yours. You do have it, but
yeah, I protect it. I make sure that it's clean and fun to play with.
I mean, whatever. He can get it grimy. That's fine.
But you know, I don't dislike Syracuse. I feel like they've so rarely been good. So it's so rare that it's fun to watch a Syracuse game. But last year was an exception, and I probably watched half of the games because, first of all, because I met you, and
I would just like tell you about them. Like, hey, they're on.
Yeah.
And your team sucks. You need another team.
Yeah, my team was terrible, so I was looking for just college football to watch. That was like But I still watched all the games, even though I didn't want to. I wanted to be that guy. Every game, I'd be like, "That's the last game. I'm not watching until some random thing I'd make up, like until they bench this guy or until Norvell's fired. I'm not watching." And next week, I'm just sitting there miserable, just like, "Why am I even doing this?" But let's hear how you feel about Syracuse.
I mean, this is my team, you know. Born there, and we had, you know, my dad and I had season tickets all through my childhood, and that's it.
Good memories.
Good memories, yeah. Even though we weren't very good ever. It was like, I remember it was really exciting when they finally did win some games sometimes. Yeah. Like when they won 8 games in 2009, it was like the highlight of my life. Because they were so bad my entire like upbringing.
It's gotta be exciting.
It was like 4 wins was a good year, and then we got a new coach, and it was really exciting because he was a former Syracuse player from when they went undefeated in 1987.
So he cares. Yeah.
Yes, he was on the undefeated 1987 team, and we got him as the coach, and he said it was his dream job to be our coach. And
you got to be careful about that, though. I mean, it was Taggart's. Well, yeah,
he eventually left, but you know, and it wasn't because he was fired. He left to be the head coach of the Bills. So whatever.
That's badass. It's a shame about the Bills this year.
Well, he was our coach for 4 years. He won 25 games. He lost 25 games. And then he said they should call me Saint Doug because it's impossible to win in Syracuse. And then he left. Because I went 500.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome because we beat West Virginia. West Virginia beat us like 10 years in a row. And
I like West Virginia.
I fuck them. They're the worst.
I like them. Bobby Bowden was the coach there before he was the coach at Florida State. So
we have a trophy when we play West Virginia. Like, it's a trophy game, the Schwartzwalder Trophy.
There's all these random trophy games. I think we have one with Virginia.
Do you?
Yeah, because of some Epps founded Florida State, and then Thomas Jefferson founded the University of Virginia, and Epps was like his great grandson or something.
Well, we played West Virginia every year from like the 30s until the Big East died. So like that wasn't just like some bullshit random team. Like we played them every year. So yeah, they suck. Fuck them. So because they beat us like my whole childhood, and then the last few years of the Big East it flipped. Even though I think we were the underdog all 3 times, we beat them 3 years in a row. And then we beat them again in 2018 at the Camping World Bowl in Orlando, and that was a pretty awesome game too.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
I'm realizing I don't like most of these teams now that
No, they
I'm
all
actually
suck.
going
Fuck
through
'em.
and dwelling on it.
Fuck them.
I feel like
All right,
Georgia
what about
Tech
regular
is an
Virginia?
exception.
What do you think of them?
What?
Virginia. What about them?
Yeah, Virginia, the Cavaliers, kind of another orange team. There's too much orange.
They don't matter is the thing. Like, yeah.
They haven't been good since.
Were they ever good in football?
Well, I remember one year losing to them, and it was really painful. I think this was.
But were they
06 or
actually good, or
07.
did you just lose to them?
They were like actually decent that year.
Oh, okay.
Not like good, but they were decent. Yeah. And it was after we beat Miami, and like both Florida State and Miami were grossly overhyped that year. And so like we were feeling pretty good, and then we lost to Virginia, and it stung. It stung.
I think it's bizarre that they got really good at basketball in the last like 10 years.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I feel like they're not. It's hard to take them seriously in sports.
Well, do you know what their MO was in basketball? Like
No.
their play style was the most.
Yeah. Their play style is the boring play style.
Yeah.
Where they take all the time.
Exactly.
And,
They played bitch ball basically, but it
yeah,
worked.
because they were good,
really good
when Florida State was having a good run and could have potentially won the Natty in 2020 were the tournament not canceled.
So, when I told you about when we beat them when they were the 1 seed, it was kind of a bullshit game because we were losing basically the whole time. And it's like 40-something to 30-something. We're down, I think, 12 with like 3 minutes left. So fuck it. We're just like, all right, let's press them because why not? And then the game just flipped and we just destroyed them. Like we sped up the pace of the game and they couldn't do anything. And we just like won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were so good for a while because like people would try to speed up and they couldn't.
We did it and they fell apart. It was so bizarre. It was like,
That's
wow,
awesome.
like, was that all we had to do to beat Virginia? They lost like 2 games all year, and then we beat them. By doing that.
How about Virginia Tech, though?
There are some iconic Cuse games against Virginia Tech in the Big East. There's a really famous one from like 2002 where there's like 5 blocked kicks and just like a bunch of crazy shit happening. And
I'll have to watch that.
That one's fun. We played a pretty good game against them, I think, this year. Part of our 6-0 start. No, that was the year before. We just had the same quarterback, so I'm getting him confused.
Yeah.
We had a last second like Hail Mary win against them, so that was pretty cool.
We beat them for a national championship, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's who you played?
We beat them with Michael Vick.
Yeah, they had Michael Vick. They stole Michael Vick from Syracuse. He was a
Did they
Cuse
really?
Commit. Yeah, he was a Cuse commit, but his mom didn't want him to leave the state. So that's how the legend goes. He was going to be the quarterback after McNabb, but then he wasn't.
Yeah, Virginia Tech is. I have some bad memories of losing to them as well. What's funny to me though is my buddy Andrew, who's a year older than me. His first memory, his earliest memory, is that national championship game, and his grandfather telling him, "Now they've got Michael Vick, but we have more depth." As a team, like our whole roster is better than their whole roster. So,
which was true.
Yeah, which was true, and we won. But yeah, it was
that Virginia Tech team dog walked Cuse. Like I was too young to remember it, but like they beat us 60-something to 3, I think. And that was a good Cuse team too. That Cuse team won 10 games. We just had a really bad one against them, I guess.
Yeah, well, Michael Vick was extremely talented. So
yeah, he just like shredded us like a parent. I've never watched the game. I just know of the score.
maybe we should live reaction.
I'm not watching that one. Hell no. All right, last one, Wake.
Yeah, I really welcome to Deektown, baby. I really don't like Wake Forest.
I like Wake because as bad as Syracuse has been, it seems like they're always a little worse.
Yeah, they're usually bad. I don't like Wake because they kind of exist in my head as just kind of a barometer as to where my program is, like Florida State is. It's like if Wake beating us is on the table, things have gone terribly wrong. And one of the most infamous losses in Florida State history was a loss to a very good Wake team, actually. And it was in like 2006. And it was during the quote unquote lost decade. And what it was Jeff Bowden, Bobby Bowden's son, was the offensive coordinator forever. It was one of those things where like the dad wants their son to like carry on the legacy, but the son sucks. Jeff Bowden was terrible. Everyone wanted him gone forever, and Bobby wouldn't do it. And it was part of what kind of like started to sour opinion on Bobby because of this like refusal to get a real OC. Anyway, after he lost to Wake, that was what kind of set things in motion for him eventually being told to have a good day. So
I like how you guys call that the lost decade when I like Cuse probably had an infinitely worse decade than you guys.
Our last decade has been worse than the lost decade. The thing was like we thought Florida State fans thought that was temporary. I wasn't because like I was just a kid. You know what I mean? Like I didn't become a real fan until I was an adult, but because otherwise you're just absorbing whatever your parents.
This is what Cuse basketball is going through right now. Like we thought that from like 2016 to like last year was temporary, and then this year we're like, oh no, I guess we're just not a good program anymore.
Yeah, no, it's where Florida State football is as well. I mean, it's this new era of NIL and like collectives is impossible to navigate, and I only know it from the football side. You tell me you've told me it's worse with basketball
because you literally lose your whole team in basketball like this. The thing about Cuse basketball is if this were a regular year and I could count on the players actually coming back, I would have hope for the future because I think we have some good talented young players that we could build on. But knowing that most of them probably aren't going to come back, it's like why am I even watching? Like we're bad this year, and the players aren't even going to come back. So who cares?
You can't develop kind of a relationship with like knowing who everyone is and watching them grow and develop anymore. And it kind of kills a lot of the fun and uniqueness about these college sports. It's just it's not as fun. And but I think it'll fix itself eventually. But yeah, right now it's a little rough.
I look back at like when Cuse was good at basketball like 10 years ago, like the team that beat Duke, I mentioned how we didn't have any NBA players, and that's because we had like a lot of seniors, a lot of like fifth year people that were just really good college players. And we had one really good true freshman point guard, and that was our team. And that was, he got drafted, but he only lasted like 2 years in the NBA. Sad face.
All right, well, that was our 45-minute
why the fuck we
talk.
do that?
Enjoy and stay tuned for more Nintendo content.
This may or may not air. Well, I guess we'll have to, so we wasted so much time on it.
Yeah, it was meant to, it has to air.
Yeah, I guess so.